So I work with women basically every day who battle chronic fight or flight. Their bodies are falling apart. They're struggling to get through just a regular everyday activity like getting dressed, let alone raising their kids and being kind to their family and leaving the house and having a social life and getting a job or having a job, maintaining it, whatever. Like, it's hard to just get out of bed. It's hard to just do your hair every day, let alone all of the other things that are required of us women throughout the day. Now, one of the things that I get asked all the time is, okay, yes, that's me. I'm struggling with all of these things that you're talking about. How do I get regulated? How can I get the old me back? The one that used to know how to have fun, the one that used to know how to love well and be kind and to connect with others and not be so frazzled and fried and overwhelmed and snappy all the time. How do I get her back? What can I do? Please give me the easy button. Now, in reality, we all know that there is no such thing as an easy button, right? Like, we didn't get into chronic fight or flight poof out of nowhere, and we're not going to get out of chronic fight or flight poof out of nowhere. It's going to take some effort and some change in our lives. So the reality is that in order to get unstuck from chronic fight or flight, we have to know how we got here. What are the lifestyle choices we made that got us here? What are the events, the moments in life that caused us this constant state of stress, whether that be trauma, whether that be viral infections, whether that be surgeries, whether that be poor diet or whatever it is. There's so many things that can contribute to this. And so we have to take that really honest assessment and say, where are some areas that I'm contributing? But listen, the reality is that that takes time. And if you're like me, you don't have the mental and physical energy to address all of those things all at the same time. And so what I find is that what most people are asking me for is the quickest, easiest way to get from point A to point B. And so I want to share with you what worked for me the fastest while I was working on all of the other pieces of the SMILE framework. So I spent 10 years going to doctors, naturopaths, specialists, functional medicine doctors, chiropractors, alternative practitioners, all of the above, literally anyone that had medical anything. I was asking them, please help me, somebody figure out what's wrong with me. And here's what I learned. What I learned was that everything they had me trying, whether that be the elimination diets, the supplements, the medications, the therapies, the different things they had me trying to do, they were all addressing the same thing, but not getting me better. Why? Because they were addressing my symptoms, not the root. And so the reason why they weren't addressing the root is because they didn't even look for chronic fight or flight. They were just focused on my symptoms and making them go away. And so what's really, really, really important in order to do the quick, easy, let's get regulated is to recognize what are we dealing with. It's chronic fight or flight, which means it's dysregulated nervous system and a totally out of balance gut-brain axis. So let's start there. So after 10 years of that, it can start to feel like I don't want to take another supplement. I don't want to try another diet. I don't want to do another thing that's not going to work because it's discouraging and it's so heartbreaking to have always feel like a failure in these efforts. So when the Lord led me to another supplement protocol, I was really resistant. I was so not interested. But I'm going to share with you about this supplement protocol because I want you to understand what to do to advocate for yourself, because you might not just have chronic fight or flight to deal with down the road. You might have something else you have to deal with. And so I'm going to talk to you about the supplements. Yes, I partner with the company. Yes, I get a small commission if you purchase from me. But I want to educate you on what to look for and why certain things work and why certain things don't. So that's what we're going to do. So remember, I was talking about we want to get the gut-brain axis working properly. We want to get the nervous system back to being stress resilient, flexibility in the nervous system. These are the things that were literally what these products were designed to do, and I had no idea. So the very first part, and there's 4 parts to what I used, okay? You can find all of this on my page, but is Mentabiotics. This is the first. I'm trying to get it. There you go. Mentabiotics. Now, Mentabiotics is a very special, in my opinion, after having taken multiple different probiotics, this one was very unique and special from anything I had tried. And what makes it unique and special for me was that it was very targeted. I always went to the store and picked probiotics randomly, really. I would just look around and whichever drew me, I would take that one. I didn't know. And what I discovered was that probiotics have come so far from when I was doing this. In the beginning, when I was doing all of this, probiotics literally just said the genus and species, Lactobacillus helveticus. And you didn't know what that was doing for you. It is now becoming much more common practice, that it'll say Lactobacillus helveticus R0052. The R0052 is the key to unlocking what that probiotic is for, because clinical studies have been done on these strains to show us what benefit they have in the body. So in the Mentabiotics, it has 3 strains of probiotics that are actually considered psychobiotics because they have a mental wellness benefit. There's one for stress. There's one for stress resiliency, I should say. One for improved mood. There's one for gut integrity. And so you have these different things that are working on these different areas that we as chronic fight or flight warriors are battling. And so you're going to see optimized neurotransmitter production like serotonin, which is your feel-good neurotransmitter. 95% of it's produced in your gut. Dopamine, GABA, all of these different neurotransmitters. Immune function, so you're going to feel better. You're going to have less occasion for sickness as your gut is working better. And so having a stronger immune function, 75% of that's in your gut. Sealing up leaky gut or gut permeability. All of these things matter. And so having a good probiotic that addresses the things that we're trying to address makes all the difference. So the Mentabiotics has a probiotic, 3 probiotics, 3 preferred prebiotic strains that those probiotics prefer to eat. Now, prebiotics you can get from all kinds of plants, and you could just do that. That's fine. But this particular product combined the 2 for a reason. Then there's phytobiotics, which act sort of like a fence around the garden you're building to protect the work that you're doing there. And then there's a digestive performance blend. So Mentabiotics, that's the first part of what I used very specifically for mental wellness, overcoming chronic fight or flight. So as we focus on the gut-brain axis, right, we're going to next focus on the brain, and that's where this product called MentaFocus comes in. And the glare is something else there. So MentaFocus, what MentaFocus is going to really be powerful in helping us with is with that ability to remember short-term and long-term memory for cognitive function, sharpness, creativity, like really getting in the zone. And also it has this ability because of the polyphenols in it. The studies show that those polyphenols have the ability to help with neural inflammation, which is going to really be powerful for long-term brain health. And so focusing on that and getting our brains to start working properly again and getting our guts to start working properly again can absolutely change the game. So the third part of the gut-brain axis is the axis, and a lot of people don't know what the axis is. So the axis is the vagus nerve, the immune system, the circulatory system. This is your body's communication system that connect the gut to the brain and help your body to transmit signals and hormones and neurotransmitters throughout the body so that proper communication is happening through all the organs and all the systems in your body. So the way that we're going to address the axis, which is the vagus nerve, the immune system, the circulatory system, is with something called MentaSync, okay? And so it's called MentaSync because it is that mechanism that the body uses to optimize the communication between the gut and the brain, that syncing process, so that they're communicating the way that they were designed to. And when we do that, it leads to something called psychological vigor, which is, physical energy, mental acuity, and emotional well-being. It's going to help with optimizing the nervous system functioning, helping the body to send signals appropriately through the body, improving immune function, all of those kinds of really powerful things that help our body fight back against the symptoms and the damage that's been done from years of chronic fight or flight. Okay, the fourth and final piece of what I like to call the fight or flight pack, it's actually those first 3 products are called the fundamentals pack, and this piece here called Mood Plus The glare. Mood Plus is the fourth piece of what I like to call the fight or flight pack. So if you wanted to go explore my links and you saw something called fight or flight pack, that's what you're looking at, okay? So the Mood Plus is a blend of herbs and spices that are considered adaptogenic. And what that means is it kind of helps your body. Those herbs and spices have the ability to help your body restore homeostasis or to regain balance. So what it's been shown to do is these particular herbs and spices have been shown to help your cortisol levels to regulate, to help mood states to regulate, that restlessness inside, that constant wired but tired where you're always on edge and you can't ever feel calm. As a matter of fact, that's one of the first things people say to me. I can't explain it, but I just feel calm. That would be why. Because it's really helping that just regulation. It's helping it regulate. That's what it's doing. And so, this is why when you take a targeted approach, you get targeted results. And this was a game changer for me. So no matter what you're dealing with, whether it's chronic fight or flight or something else, when you're going to the practitioners that you're going to, you want to make sure that they're addressing you at the root, because a lot of times they'll say, oh, well, your hormones are dysregulated. Okay, well, that is true, but why? Why are my hormones not working the way they're supposed to? Where are my hormones produced? Where are they metabolized? Where are they, shipped out from? And how is that supposed to work? For instance, I'll give you this one example, and the video's getting long, but when these products, the fundamentals specifically, were clinically tested, one of the things that happened was 10 women in the clinical study found that they started feeling like not better, but maybe worse. And they couldn't figure out what was going on. And they realized after talking to each of the women that all 10 women were on a thyroid medication. And so they said, okay, that's interesting. Let's look into that. Well, what they discovered was that cortisol, that stress hormone in our body, it can act like, and inflammation, by the way, can act like roadblocks in the communication system. And so what these women, before they had taken anything, their body had all these roadblocks and they needed medication to get over them. But now the roadblocks were coming down and their medications were too high. And so they actually were not feeling bad because of the product, but because they were on too much medication, they went back to their doctors and were able to reduce that. So there's all of these things that I say that because sometimes what they say is the root is not the root. Like I was told that I had some hormone stuff. I was told I was low in nutrient levels. I was told these different things that none of it came together to make a complete picture, but I had these things that were going on, but nobody ever figured out why. What was the root? And I didn't know how to ask the right questions. So you want targeted things that are going to address the root, and the gut-brain axis is always, 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 in my humble opinion, a good place to start when you're trying to get your body back to a place of optimization, because it is the core. So to answer the question, how do you get regulated? This is one massive piece of the puzzle to help you start feeling better more quickly while we work on that SMILE framework of spiritual connection, mindset, intentional living, learn and assess, and encourage others. I would love to answer any more questions you have about this. Drop them in the comments. Let's talk about it. I want to hear your thoughts, your experiences, that I can create content that is tailored to your needs. So thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you on the next video.